Yo, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the numerous Pokemon leaks that have come out over the past almost 48 hours at this point, pretty much. There's just so much. This entire leak is absolutely insane. For one, we have beta designs and like source codes from previous games, so we know like all their plans and everything. There's been some Horizons leaks, although I don't really want to touch those because I don't know how accurate they really are because I initially thought it was all real, but the thing is, a lot of it was like early concepts back before the show even started airing, so I think a lot of it could have been revised or changed, and that's certainly what it seems like, because in the plans for the show, they don't say anything about Amethio, or they talk about Freed having a long-lost brother, and I doubt that they're going to put that in, so I don't know how accurate a lot of the anime stuff is. It does mention that Zygarde and Rayquaza are like the guardians of Rakua, and I think if anything that would stay, and link to like Legends ZA or something. But I'm not really here to talk about the anime stuff. I'm here to talk about the rest that was announced because that is all 100% real. So first, I'm gonna start off with Gen 10, which is that it's apparently an archipelago made up of several islands. That's what the reason. That's what the region is. So people are assuming that it's going to be Greece or something, and yeah, I guess. But you have to go based on what Ku said as well. Yes, I believe Ku. I think most of what he says is true, and he's basically hinted that we'll have a region for Gen 10, but then Gen 10, since it's the 30th anniversary game, we'll be able to visit all the past regions as well. So what I think is that this archipelago isn't going to actually be one region. This archipelago is going to be maybe like every region. Like maybe by the time Gen 10 happens, there'll be like an area in the world where it's like a portion of each region, basically, in one. So then you get to go to basically every region to celebrate the 30th anniversary. But next, we have Legends ZA leaks, and thankfully there's not very much, despite the leaker having access to basically the entire game. All we know is that it was originally planned for a 2024 release, but it got delayed, so that's overall a good thing. And we also know that there is, a Mega Zygarde planned, and two, a Mega Zeraora planned. So how they're going to bring Zeraora into all this is extremely interesting, because Zeraora is technically an Alolan It's not related to Kalos whatsoever, so that introduces the question, like, oh, maybe Ultra Beasts are going to be involved in Legends ZA, like people have speculated. And then as for Omega Zygarde, I mean, that's just going to be broken as hell. We're going to have the new strongest Pokemon here, because Zygarde 100% form is already busted as hell. Imagine a Mega Zygarde 100% form. And that is just very intriguing for Horizons as well, because I'm sure that Gideon will eventually get this Mega Zygarde, and that'll be very exciting to see. Next, we have one more detail on Gen 10, which codename is Gaia, so that's very interesting. But the detail is that it's apparently being developed for both the Switch 1 and the Switch 2, which is very interesting because Gen 10 is likely going to come out in 2026, and I would think that the Switch 2 would be in full swing by then, so I don't know why it's not in full development for the Switch 2, but it could be because they want anyone, even people who can't get the Switch 2, to be able to experience this 30th anniversary thing that they're planning. Next, we have news on a potential new multiplayer game that is supposedly similar to Splatoon. Now, it's also being co-developed between Ilka and Gamefreak, so I would expect that it's kind of like a more lower budget game, and they're just using Splatoon as it's probably like a lower budget Splatoon. Like, I would assume it's something like Pokemon Unite, nothing huge. I think people are getting more excited about this than necessary. Next, we have news on the next movie of the franchise, whose main mythical is apparently going to be Mew, and it's going to focus on Kanto. Now, it was originally set to release a long time ago, but it's just been basically in development hell. But I could definitely see them releasing it for the 30th anniversary, especially if it focuses on the original 151 and Mew and all that. And I have to say, the plot sounds pretty interesting. There's a tease of a new mythical, or just a new Mon in general, being in the movie as well. And yeah, it's basically a reboot. It doesn't follow the alternate universe Ash. It follows entirely new characters. And it's meant to bring adults back into the franchise, like people who are kind of dormant from it. So that definitely intrigues me. The more mature content we get, the better, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, the whole franchise doesn't have to be like that. It's for kids at the end of the day, but it's really the adults who are behind a lot of the merchandise and advertising the franchise on social media and all that. So I'm glad to see that we're being thought of a little bit as well, or at least the older part of the franchise is. Next, we have news of a live-action Netflix show. Yeah, remember that? That apparently is still happening, although it doesn't seem to be fictional. It seems to be like kind of based on real life too. That's all. That's all that we really know about it. And then there's 8 episodes for the first season. I'm just very intrigued to see what a live-action series could be like for the franchise. I mean, we had the one in Japan, but that was just like a little thing. With this being with Netflix, this will be a lot higher budget. And the fact that there's up to 5 seasons being considered, they're clearly planning something relatively big with this. Next, we have Project Reload, which is apparently a new original anime. It's not like the replacement for Horizons or anything, but it's 12 21-minute episodes, and it's been in development since 2022, and we don't know the current status of it, so it could unfortunately be canceled. But it's animated by the same studio that did Twilight Wings, so if it's basically just a more full-length Twilight Wings series, then we're in for a treat. That's definitely something that the Pokemon Company should work on, is creating more spin-off anime that are more than just web shorts. Like, this is apparently thinking of getting a theatrical release, if it does release, so it definitely shows that they're planning something relatively big with it. And as for what Reload could mean, that's pretty intriguing. Is it like kind of like a retelling of the original series, but just with new characters or something? I don't know. That wouldn't really be good, but I don't know what else it could be. And lastly, we have news on a Detective Pikachu sequel movie. And it's likely canceled, apparently, because it hasn't released by now, and it was supposed to. But I could definitely see them doing a sequel. I mean, they did a sequel game. I don't see why they couldn't do a sequel movie, right?